Welcome to Goddess Behavior, the podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era.
This is Goddess Behavior. We're going to continue our zodiac series with the fire signs.
Yeah, born from fire.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I'm sure they've been waiting for their turn, which they don't do well.
No, we left them hanging for a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
But not that we weren't excited, because we are.
Yeah, I think it's just more fun when we get to incorporate our elements a little bit more into our episodes. And now we're heading towards fire out of the water.
Yeah. So before humans understood science, they understood fire. It could keep you alive. It could destroy your home. It could turn darkness into light. And once something was touched by fire, it was never exactly the same.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why ancient people built entire myths around heroes, kings, and explorers, because they understood that some people move through the world like fire itself. Aries charges forward. Leo commands attention. Sagittarius chases the horizon. And together, they reveal why humans have always been fascinated by the people willing to be seen, take risks, and change the world around them.
Today, we're exploring the mythology behind the fire signs and uncovering the ancient stories hidden inside Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The zodiac wasn't originally about personality. It was about courage, legacy, and humanity's endless desire to become something more. And somehow, we're still doing that today. Every society, ancient or modern, seems to return to the same question. What happens when someone burns brightly enough to change the world?
I love that question for fire signs, because I think sometimes people assume that you're speaking negatively of them when you say that, like maybe that they're abrasive or something, when the reality is that they're forging their own paths, right? And much like a fire.
And they're bolder than other people are. And I think sometimes that, like you said, that can be scary for people who aren't that way or are less inclined to act quickly on things.
Yeah, I think it gives these signs an intimidation factor.
Yeah, for sure. And a main character energy.
Totally. Where if you're uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, like I think these signs are always at the forefront of conversation or a group of people. And like we were just saying, it can be intimidating to some, but they are born to stand out.
Right.
So.
And it's good. Well, and it's good to understand that. So here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so our astrology basics, we're going to go over similar things that we went over in the water sign episode, but we're going to apply it to our fire signs. And if you're new here, it will also help too.
Yeah, just a little.
Like if you're jumping in at fire signs because you are one, you'll be like, okay, now I know what we're talking about. Yes, so before we dive into the individual signs, let's do a quick astrology primer. Because if you've ever heard the terms fixed fire sign or mutable sign, and you're just nodding along politely, this section is for you.
Okay, so again, the zodiac is divided into 12 signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Those signs are grouped in a few different ways here. So the first way that they're linked is the way that we're speaking of them is by element.
Right.
So our fire signs,
which we're talking about today. Yeah.
Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air signs, so our Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And our water signs, which we've already discussed, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Ancient cultures believed these elements represented different ways of experiencing the world. Fire is associated with energy, passion, creation, inspiration, vitality, and transformation. Fire is visible. Fire moves. Fire pretty much demands your attention, but it's also dangerous. It can illuminate a room or burn down an entire city. And that duality is important for this discussion. Because fire mythology has always been about both creation and destruction.
Right. Yeah.
Dual nature.
Yeah, it's impossible to see both ends of that, right? So important distinction. So the second grouping is called modality, which describes how a sign approaches life. There are 3 modalities: cardinal signs that initiate or begin things, fixed signs that stabilize and maintain, and mutable signs that adapt and transform. Every element has one of each. So today's sign, Aries, is cardinal fire. It sparks the flame and starts the journey. Leo is fixed fire. It sustains the flame and turns it into legacy. Sagittarius is mutable fire. It spreads the flame outward, seeking wisdom and new horizons. You can also think of them as the life cycle of a flame.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about lighting the match, letting it burn on the wick, and then allowing it to spread.
Dwindle.
Yeah. Until it goes out on its own.
I like
It's a
that.
good visual.
Yeah, it is a good visual.
Aries is the match, Leo is the bonfire, and Sagittarius is the wildfire that travels beyond the horizon.
So good.
Yep.
You'll also hear us mention ruling planets. So in astrology, each sign is connected to a celestial body that symbolizes certain themes. For example, Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of action, conflict, courage, and raw instinct. Leo is ruled by the sun, symbolizing identity, vitality, visibility, and self-expression. Of course they are.
Yep.
Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, representing expansion, philosophy, exploration, and higher learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when you hear the planets that are related to them, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And like the themes that go along with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even these planetary associations tell a story. Mars, aka Aries, says go. The sun, aka Leo, says be seen. And Jupiter, aka Sagittarius, says keep going. And together they create the mythology of fire itself.
Mm-hmm.
My son is a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, yeah, he's full send.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, fire signs in general are full send. I think that's what I love most about them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but when you're 5, it's hard.
Oh,
they can't full send. They're 5.
No,
and they don't
true.
like that.
That's true. I mean, you really can't full send at any age.
I mean, true.
Or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
This is coming from people who are not fire signs, so maybe it's hard for us to understand. So now one thing that's important to remember, astrology is only one layer to the story. Today's episode isn't whether Leos love attention or Sagittarius can't sit still, Owen. But before the signs became personality archetypes, they were constellations. And before they were myths, they were humanity's attempt to explain some of the most powerful forces we experience: courage, ambition, identity, exploration, and transformation. Ancient people understood something we know instinctively today. Fire changes things. Nothing touched by fire remains the same. And maybe that's why these signs have endured for thousands of years. Every civilization needs people willing to begin something, build something, or venture beyond the edge of the known world. And that's exactly where we're starting today.
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, I just want to remind listeners that the Mesopotamians mapped these out forever ago.
Yeah.
And so these are very ancient concepts that were charted out.
Yeah.
And
so it's more scientific than I think people give it credit.
Yeah. And I just that's why I'm trying to make sure that we say that, because we're not pulling this from thin air.
No. So something I didn't mention in last episode, which I thought of after when I was listening to editing it, was that when you're given your birth chart, it's considered a snapshot of the sky and the positioning of the planets the day you're born and the time you're born. So all of these are mathematical points in the sky. It's not like all of this is within the 360-degree circle.
Yes.
And each sign has its own piece. This is stuff we don't want to get into in this episode because it's not like the point of it, but it is something that is important to understand, that it's not random. None of this is random.
No. And it's a chart. I mean,
if you think about mapping out land, it's just the sky. We're mapping up.
It is a map of the sky from the moment.
Yes, that's what I love about it. And you can do it every day. You could do it right now and see where the planets are.
Yeah.
And see what's happening up there.
Yeah. And
I did it the other day, actually, because I was like, what is happening?
Mercury.
Yes, that is a part of it.
But yes, I like to make sure that everyone is understanding that this is very real science. And so here we are talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we can get into that maybe in a different episode if we want to get with, more specific placements. But for now, we'll just let that be it. Yeah. Happy
to answer questions, though.
Yes.
If you send them our way, we will answer you.
Definitely. So. All right. So What better place to start than with Aries?
Yes, our fire starters.
Yes, the spark that starts it all.
Absolutely. Aries is our cardinal fire sign, which means it's the initiator of the fire signs and actually the very first sign of the entire zodiac. Its season runs from approximately March 21st to April 19th, right around the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere when the world itself is beginning again. So,
like I said, the calendar begins in March.
yes. So having New Year where we put New Year makes zero sense.
No sense.
You can get your ideas then, sure, or have them ready for March, though.
Yeah. So, like, if you've ever felt like New Year's Eve feels anticlimactic and like you're still in the middle of winter because you're not following like the Earth's cycle. So it makes sense to start in March.
Yeah.
Like when everything starts waking up and becoming spring.
Yes, because that is renewal.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
And again, this is for people in the Northern Hemisphere. So if you're not in the Northern Hemisphere, you're opposite.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but
that's a good point to say.
Yeah. So like we're saying, that timing is kind of perfect because Aries energy is all about beginnings. It's ruled by Mars, the planet associated with action, courage, conflict, drive, and raw instinct. Aries doesn't sit around overthinking things. What's that like?
Huh. I don't know.
Ask my husband. My husband is an Aries. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment or ask permission. Aries moves and figures it out later. And while it might sound reckless, there's a reason ancient cultures kept creating myths around the exact same type of person. Civilizations aren't built by people who wait until they're ready. They are built by people willing to take the first step before certainty exists.
Take the initiative.
Yeah.
Even when it's unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very brave.
It couldn't be me, but
couldn't be
good
me.
for you.
Nope. We overthink it.
Overthink, and I need a plan. I need a step-by-step plan.
Yep.
And what time does the plan start?
Yeah.
And what time does the plan end?
Yeah. I mean,
and we'll get into that.
Yeah,
so.
we can definitely do that.
But do I love these people? Usually, yes, I do.
Yeah, because they do what we're not good at. And I like that
and
about
it helps
them.
me. Yeah, it helps me. Aries energy is associated with courage, action, competition, instinct, passion, leadership, with a little bit of chaos.
Heavy on the chaos.
Yeah, you
live with one. And my mother-in-law's one.
Oh, there you go.
Born on the same day.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that last one is important because the shadow side of Aries can be impulsiveness, conflict, ego, impatience, and destruction simply for the sake of movement. Simply to kind of like stir the pot, if you will.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yes. And again, not always in a bad way,
no,
but they are the initiators of things.
Going, right.
And it's very like mischievous, elfy, leprechaun-y of them, but that's how they are. Like they will be like, okay, let's get this going. Like,
yeah, they're the guy with the stick.
They love to poke. They love to stir the pot.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah. But again,
not always in a bad way.
It's just bad.
Mischievous and like
to a water sign. I could see that coming off as like, oh my God,
why?
Stop.
Don't do that. Yeah. Yes.
But I think you and I are both kind of like, no, we need people like that.
Yeah. We can understand their value.
Yeah. But that's also what makes this archetype so fascinating. Throughout mythology, societies repeatedly celebrate people who disrupt the status quo, our country in particular.
Yes, we love a disruptor.
How we got here.
Yeah.
So, heroes, warriors, pioneers, and revolutionaries almost always carry a little Aries energy because they understand something that most people often struggle with. You can't create something new without disrupting something old.
Yes, for sure.
Aries reminds us that every journey, every civilization, every great story, and every act of courage has to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they'll start it.
Yep.
They'll hit the button. Big red button, they're going to hit it.
They're going to do it.
And they'll go first. Yeah. And if water signs asked us to feel deeply, fire signs are asking us to act boldly. And Aries is that very first spark.
Yeah, they definitely are the initiator of the zodiac. And because they're the first sign, they are often considered like the babies of the zodiac. And if you think of them like each sign as like an evolutionary, like up to adulthood or to an older person, like Pisces would be the grandma.
Yeah.
Like they're the all-knowing wise one because they've been all the way through, right? So Aries is like the baby and they just do. They don't think before they do it. Well, like not in a bad way again, but just because they don't know any better.
But I think that's how they get that reputation, right? Of like
you don't even think.
Being
it's
an
like
antagonizer.
Yeah.
Whereas people with Pisces are like, you're just living up in the clouds.
Yeah. Or like, oh, grandma. Like,
Or
you know what I mean?
oh,
Like
grandma
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Like, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
has its place. I'm
yeah.
not knocking them. I
No,
think it makes sense.
again, we're in a cyclical situation, so
Yeah.
it's interesting to think of it that way.
Mhm.
All right, so constellation
Yeah,
of Aries,
so
right?
where is this coming from?
Yeah.
What's their story?
Its constellation is tied to one of Greek mythology's most famous creatures, the golden ram. And honestly, this story is much darker than people think. The golden ram was sent by the gods to rescue two siblings, Phrixus and Helle, who are about to be sacrificed. A little family drama is putting it lightly here. Their stepmother, Ino, had manipulated events so that the children would be killed, and that their father, King Athamas, believed sacrificing them was the only way to save his kingdom from famine. Seems logical. So, at the very last moment, a magnificent ram with a fleece made of gold appeared and carried the children away to safety. The two siblings climbed onto its back and flew across the sea. But during the journey, tragedy struck. Helle lost her grip and fell into the water below. The body of water eventually became known as Hellespont, which is now known as the Dardanelles Strait in modern-day Turkey. Phrixus survived and reached land safely. And once he arrived, he did something that might feel strange to a modern audience. He sacrificed the golden ram to Zeus as an act of gratitude. Its golden fleece was then preserved and hung in a sacred grove guarded by a dragon.
And this golden fleece is something
The golden fleece.
It is the golden
Yes.
fleece. And if that sounds familiar, that's because this object becomes one of the most famous prizes in all of Greek mythology. It eventually launches the story of Jason and the Argonauts, whose entire quest centers around retrieving this same golden fleece, which means Aries isn't just one story. It's the story that starts another story.
Yep. Very
initiator.
Very Aries of them, right?
And when you look at the symbolism, it's actually kind of perfect that Aries opens the zodiac because its mythology is built around rescue, risk, survival, courage, and the beginning of this heroic quest.
Yeah.
Aries energy is often described as impulsive, but these myths tell a slightly different story. They're asking who is willing to act when everyone else freezes. Because sometimes the hero isn't the strongest person in the room. Sometimes it's simply the one willing to move first. And that's an idea humans have been celebrating for thousands of years.
Yeah. Yeah, like we were saying, impulsive in a good way, like not always in a bad way, because impulsive just gets this like bad connotation. Impulsive
Absolutely.
meaning taking action.
Yeah, like someone's got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. Like we said, not going to be me. Not my wheelhouse.
I mean, yes, but give me a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take charge when I'm ready.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
But let me do it my way.
Yes.
I won't just jump.
No.
I got to have a
exactly.
plan.
Yeah.
Then I'll jump.
So if we zoom out from the constellation itself, Aries is deeply connected to one of humanity's oldest mythological archetype, the warrior.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily mean the warrior in the sense of someone who loves to fight, but someone who is willing to step into uncertainty and take action when it's required, kind of like we were saying before. Across cultures, we see versions of this over and over. In Greek mythology, Aries often becomes associated with Ares, or Mars, in Roman mythology, the god of war. But Mars wasn't just about violence. He represented drive, ambition, courage, and the instinct to survive. And then there's Athena, but specifically her strategic warrior aspect. Unlike Aries, Athena reminded us that bravery isn't always about brute force. Sometimes courage is thoughtful, and sometimes it can be calculated. We also see Aries energy in Celtic warrior archetype, where heroes are remembered for their willingness to protect their communities and face impossible odds. And in Norse mythology, we see echoes of Aries in the berserkers, legendary warriors who charge into battle with an almost supernatural fearlessness. But
who else goes headfirst into that type of battle?
Not again, not
I.
me.
Couldn't be me.
Nope. Different cultures, same archetype. The person who goes first, the person who acts, the person who changes the course of the events simply by refusing to stand still. And that's really the key to understanding Aries mythology. Fire signs rarely begin with peace. They usually begin with disruption. A challenge appears, an obstacle emerges, and the world becomes unstable. And then someone has to do something.
Yeah. Fire changes things irreversibly. Once something has been touched by fire, it can never go back to exactly what it was before. And ancient people understood that human beings can work the same way. One courageous act, one impulsive decision, one person willing to move before everyone else, and history changes. That's Aries. Its myths are rarely about harmony, they're about momentum. Because Aries energy asks a question that humans have been wrestling with forever. What happens when someone decides they're no longer willing to stay where they are? And sometimes that person becomes the hero. Sometimes they become a cautionary tale. And usually they're a little bit of both.
Yeah. That's why you get this like duality with Aries in particular, I think, gets more of like a bad rap in the fire signs of like this like negative connotation along with the good stuff. Like they're it's a little bit of a double-edged sword with Aries. It's not always, well, I guess fire signs in general, actually, now that I am saying it out loud, I think they really have a duality about them where it's like, yeah, they're both good and bad, quote unquote, good and bad.
For me, they're one where the rest of their chart really does matter.
It does.
Because I like an Aries. It's not, it really is not.
I think I think like you said, it's what plays in with the Aries energy.
What else
right?
you got going on?
Yeah, for sure.
I would want to know.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing you'll notice about Aries coded characters is that they're almost always the person who moves the story forward. They're rarely the side character. Like I said, they're main character energy.
Yeah.
Fire signs in general are, but I feel like
starters,
especially a fire starter.
Main character energy.
Yeah. They're the ones who are saying, we're doing this, Sometimes that's inspiring and sometimes it's chaotic. Usually it's both. Aries energy isn't about being fearless, but deciding when the action is important, right? Every hero's journey needs an Aries. Otherwise, everyone would be standing there at the beginning of the map waiting for someone else to go first. And Aries is usually the person to say, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, perfect example of that is Katniss Everdeen. I volunteer as tribute.
Hunger Games.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, a girl on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't necessarily want to be the hero, but she wants to speak up and
change
take
things.
initiative. Yeah. She recognizes something is wrong and wants to fix it.
Yeah. Also, when we're talking about these characters, we're talking about their vibe, not what they are.
Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence
is
not an Aries.
No, and maybe even Katniss is not an Aries, right? We don't know for sure with all these characters.
But to us, we're saying she gives Aries energy.
Exactly. Aries coded, not necessarily
coded,
that they are, right? Arya Stark, driven by action, courage, and an unwavering sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
She really drives the whole story of Game of Thrones.
She's feisty and I love it.
So good. Yeah.
I love Arya.
And then our Queen of Terrasen, Aelin Ash River Galathinius. Again, she is not, we know she is a Taurus, so I'm not saying that she is one, but she is fiery.
Have Aries in her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We don't get a full chart because we don't have her time of birth.
No.
We can't have a full chart for her.
And Terrasen is not a real place.
Problems.
As much as I wish it was.
It is to us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
But energy-wise, she's a fire starter.
Yeah. I mean, she's bold, impulsive.
And she has to be.
Yeah, strategic when necessary and completely unafraid of the enormous risks that go with protecting the people that she cares about. She doesn't care. She just is like, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Literally.
I know. And Mulan, Aries energy.
Yeah. She struggles. Yeah, I think you could see maybe the duality with Mulan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's willing to make the step forward when no one can, like a Katniss, but she's definitely like, but am I ready? She like doubts herself.
I mean, you see her struggle with it, but she's like, no, I'm doing this. She had already made up her mind.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean she wasn't struggling with it, but she was like, no, I'm going.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad can't do this. I'm doing it.
Right.
Initiative.
And Peter Pan, it's a different parallel. So like he's more, again, maybe a childlike personification of Aries, right?
I would agree with that.
Impulsive, again, in a way that's annoying, not necessarily in a good way.
I mean, in the way that every female singer has ever sung about a Peter Pan-like character.
Correct.
It's never good.
No. Well, it's just like refusing to acknowledge the consequences and reality. Yeah. Again, childlike in the sense that they don't think beyond their initial action. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So
it's an incomplete thought process with a Peter Pan.
Yeah. Thor from the Marvel universe, Thor. not the Norse god per se. Well, yeah, him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it for both, to be honest.
I don't either.
But he's the warrior.
And he's brave, and he's not afraid to...
He kind of is impulsive, does things on a whim.
Yep.
Not a whim, but like just doesn't really think it through.
And then when his ego is wounded, like the fat man on the couch playing video games.
As we'll get into later, Chris Hemsworth is a Leo, so he plays into that energy like
pretty
it's
well.
Also Leo-ish, like that piece is like really funny to me. Yeah, so Jess Mariano from
Gilmore
Girls is Aries, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jess is independent, rebellious, and resistant to being told what to do, essentially. Like he's...
The whole time.
Yeah.
And that's his consistent character arc.
Through the whole
That's why
thing.
I put him with Aries.
Lightning McQueen. He's competitive to a fault.
I mean, he literally is a lightning bolt.
Learns, and he learns that leadership isn't just about winning. What do you mean?
He's like, no, I
don't
like being
understand.
first.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't understand.
Yeah. If we have to give Aries the Taylor Swift album, which of course we can.
Yes.
Red. Yeah.
Because they are red.
It is a fire starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Bold, passionate, intense, not holding back.
No, definitely not. Fearless.
Spark.
Yeah. Which is funny because it's not like
Fearless is
people probably
album,
be like Fearless would make more sense, but it's fearless in the sense
itself wasn't fearless. She was still very much a teenager.
Yes,
and was singing like poppy.
Yeah, yes. This is kind of
box.
Going out of the
Red was a very big
shift.
Yeah, and it was a great one.
Oh, a really good one. Yeah,
we
especially
love a good
All Too Well 10-minute version.
We love all 10 minutes of that.
So there are quite a few famous Aries.
And by this, we mean
their actual birth charts say Aries on it.
According to their chart.
Yes. Lady Gaga is a great Aries.
Absolutely, she is.
Icon.
Look at how she dresses.
Yeah.
Without fear of judgment she just like does the thing.
It's
and
her.
If that's not Aries energy.
It is. She's not afraid to be polarizing.
No.
That's something that's
And she
important.
Never has been. From the get-go, she hit the ground running.
Yep. And you could say the same about Elton John.
Yeah.
They are similar.
Unapologetically himself.
Yeah.
And he always has been.
Also, like, totally reshaping pop culture at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's Sir Elton John for a reason.
Yes, true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mariah Carey, I see.
Mariah Carey is an amazing Aries vibe.
Mm-hmm.
She is also extremely influential in pop. I think you have to have a certain magnetism to be a pop star.
Yeah.
And these fire signs they have it.
They are that.
Yeah.
That is the spark.
Yeah. So you'll see there's like a common theme with these fire sign famous people where you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. There's a certain je ne sais quoi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a little something.
Celine Dion.
Yeah.
She's just incredible. I love her. But yeah, she is, again, not afraid to be different.
To push boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Emma Watson.
Love that. Again, she's such an activist. If you don't know her past Harry Potter.
Yeah.
She's very feisty for the things she particularly cares about.
Yeah.
And I love that for her.
That's why she's a Gryffindor.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Like her not being able to like speak out publicly about things. It's not an easy thing to do as a celebrity. So, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is a great choice. Yes.
Well, but even if you separate him from Iron Man, totally see it.
So good.
Yeah, of course he's an Aries.
He's a classic comeback story too. Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
He's also really known for doing his own stunts. So that also feels very Aries to me.
Oh, yeah. Like no one's going to do that for him. He's doing it himself and probably first take.
Yeah. And Eddie Murphy, he's super bold and unapologetically himself also.
Yep.
And so this one's an interesting one because I think we think of her as being so reserved and like not Aries energy, but she actually is. Kristen Stewart.
I think the only reason I can't separate her from Bella.
No, I know. That's part of the problem, I think.
I mentally have a hard time with this one, but obviously this is her chart, so she is an Aries.
I think she forges her own path. Like if you think of how she chose how she wanted to be seen after Twilight. Completely.
It was a choice.
I'm not saying it was a good one. I'm just saying she did. And I think...
I don't like Kristen Stewart.
No, I don't care for her personally either, but she did successfully separate herself from that, which is probably not that easy to do.
Yeah, she should tell her face that.
Yeah. Well, her mannerisms, she just is the same character in every movie, in my opinion.
And that's, I don't know. I think that's why I'm just like,
but you know who is not?
Start the fire.
Is Reese Witherspoon. Her characters are memorable and we love them, but she also can do another one and we love it also.
Yeah, I love Reese in anything.
Yeah. What's your
'Cause she's
favorite
good at
Reese
it.
Witherspoon character?
Legally Blonde.
Oh, sure.
Oh, no.
Elle Woods.
Sweet Home
I
Alabama.
was going to say that's
I
I'm
love-
tied between Elle Woods and Melanie Carmichael.
Yeah.
That is such a good
Sweet
movie.
Home-
And Victoria Beckham, another
Of course
polarizing
she is.
Aries.
That I see.
Iconic.
Of course she is.
Posh Spice would be.
No one else.
Nope.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson. Again, that one doesn't surprise me.
Really started America.
Founded the University of Virginia. He
Yeah.
did lots of like
Beginnings of things.
and,
Yeah.
and in a time where America was really sort of in
Yeah.
its foundational era.
Yeah.
He was charging the way.
Totally.
So
Charlemagne is also like that.
makes sense. Same.
Yeah.
Different
Holy
country.
Roman Empire. Hans Christian Andersen,
Yeah.
also
so
an
our-
Aries. Back to our mermaid episode.
and our Black Forest episode.
Yeah, and in his own way, he changed his
like a
storytelling is reframing.
Scary.
His-
He
His style
reframes
is
the
different,
situation.
than other people of his time.
Yep.
Ponce de Leon, so a famous explorer,
Floridian explorer.
Yeah. And Leonardo da Vinci.
Yep.
I mean, he created a lot of modern things that we know now, so I think it's pretty amazing.
Trailblazers.
Yeah. And finally, Maya Angelou. She's a really good
Yeah, we can't leave her out.
example that Aries isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just being courageous.
And speaking your truth when it's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And when no one else wants to.
Yeah, leading a cultural conversation is not an easy task.
No,
And
not when she did
it's
it in
bold.
particular.
Yeah, it's bold and strong in a different way,
Absolutely. So lots of good Aries characters here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the exception of Kristen Stewart, I'm like,
I like
I like these people.
Yeah.
true
Hang
story.
on.
If you start noticing a theme here, it's people who don't wait around for permission. Whether it's activism, sports, entertainment, or business, Aries energy tends to show up in people who are willing to take risks, challenge expectations, and start something before anyone knows whether it'll work.
Mhm.
Because Aries archetypes don't necessarily ask, what if I fail? They ask, why hasn't anyone done this yet?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, starting that journey as in the fire cycle is as important as any other. Again, cycles
Absolutely.
all, link back to each other, so you can't have one without the other. But
Someone's got to start it.
the boldness that goes along with Aries is very commendable.
To me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hope more people see it that way too.
Yes.
now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like I said, they're one that gets
They get a bad rap. They
bad
really
wrapped.
do.
Yeah. For something that is not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So our Leos, it's your time to shine.
Notice
It's your
me.
favorite thing
Yeah.
to shine. Leos are our fixed fire, and the season runs approximately between July 23rd and August 22nd, right in the heart of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, where the sun is at its strongest, which is fitting because Leo is ruled by the sun. And unlike the planets, the sun isn't orbiting anything else. It's the center of our solar system. Every planet depends on it for its light and life. That symbolism is at the heart of Leo mythology. Leo governs themes like identity, creativity, confidence, performance, charisma, leadership, legacy, and visibility. If Aries is the spark that starts the fire, Leo is the flame everyone gathers around. And because it's a fixed sign, Leo isn't interested in simply starting something. It wants to sustain it, to build something lasting, to create a legacy that outlives the moment.
So good.
I love Leos.
That's why Leo mythology is never small. The sun itself cannot be small. Every civilization looked to it for warmth, for light, and for the changing of the seasons, and for life itself. Entire calendars, harvests, and religious traditions were built around its movement across the sky. So it's no surprise that the sign ruled by the sun became associated with people who naturally draw attention. Leo energy wants to be witnessed, to create, to inspire, to leave a mark, and ultimately to become unforgettable.
Yeah. So, of course, every archetype has a shadow side, right? Leo can become overly concerned with recognition, validation, or ego. It can confuse being admired with being fulfilled. So, external validation issues. At its healthiest, Leo reminds us that being seen isn't inherently selfish. Sometimes visibility is how stories survive. sometimes someone has to stand in the spotlight in order to have something to believe in. And throughout mythology, that's exactly what Leo represents. Not fame for fame's sake, but courage to shine brightly enough that your story continues long after you're gone. I really like how that's framed because I think Leos get a very bad rap of like, you are just seeking attention constantly.
So my brain has a hard time with Leos because I work in a similar way. I
Yeah.
just don't care if you notice me or not.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need the attention
validation.
and the validation for what I do.
Yeah.
Or don't do. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my brain has a hard time with like, okay, but why do you need someone to tell you you're great?
Yeah.
Just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
They care.
They do. Yeah.
They care deeply.
Yes.
Not getting it really hurts them.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of it.
Mhm.
I have a hard time with it.
Yeah. Well, so I think they have, like the sun itself, they have a natural magnetism.
Where usually they get that anyway.
So they get the attention without even trying.
Usually.
So when they don't get it, if you're not like a fully understanding that concept as a human, it can very quickly become, I need the external validation. How do I get it? Meanwhile, you're getting it on your own. You know what I mean? Like you're getting it yourself anyway. Leo's constellation is one of the most recognizable in Greek mythology. It's tied to the very first of Hercules' 12 labors. The creature at the center of the story is the Nemean Lion.
So Hercules is a son of Zeus that if you guys have seen the movie, even the Disney version is fine for this. Hercules is a demigod born on technically Earth.
Yeah.
Finds out he is a son of Zeus and initially wants to join the gods, Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
And so he goes to his dad, he goes to Zeus's temple and is trying to figure out how he can do that.
Right.
And what he needs to do to become a god. Right. And his dad sends him on these 12 labors to complete to show that he can be a god.
Right.
And so the Leo is our first
of these labors.
The first of these labors. So Hercules is trying to earn his spot, per se.
Side note, if you guys want a Hercules' labors and how they relate to astrology, we can do that also.
It's all very good. I love it. It's dense. So doing this first is good.
Yeah, because it gives a little bit of preface.
Because then we don't have to go into the whole thing again when we do the labors.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's really good. All of them have a story and they all are related to Hercules.
Yeah, so 12 signs for 12 labors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Leo is not the first sign in the zodiac.
No.
But for Hercules, it is.
Yes.
And it'll make sense why.
Yeah.
So here we go.
So the creature at the center of the story is the Nemean Lion. Now, this wasn't just an unusually large lion. According to the myth, it had an impenetrable hide. Arrows bounced off of it. Spears couldn't pierce it. Swords were useless. It was essentially invincible. And because no weapon could harm it, it terrorized the region around Nemea, killing anyone who crossed its path. So when Hercules was ordered to defeat the lion, he quickly realized that fighting it the usual way wasn't going to work.
Yep.
Instead, he trapped it inside its cave, cornering it and defeating it with his bare hands, strangling it to death. It's an incredible physical labor. There is no clever trick, no magic weapon, just strength, endurance, and refusing to give up. But the story doesn't end there. Hercules then tried to skin the lion as proof of his victory. The problem is the hide is impenetrable. Again, I don't get what you don't understand. Yep. You clearly understood it when you're trying to kill him. According to the myth, the only thing capable of cutting the lion's skin was one of the lion's claws. One of its own claws. Yes. So Hercules used the creature's claw to remove its hide and then wore the lion's pelt as armor for the rest of his adventures.
So he goes through the other 11 trials with this lion skin as his cloak.
And it's the legacy.
That helps Hercules through the entire rest of his labor.
Yeah.
And because the lion isn't remembered simply as a monster that was defeated, it's remembered as something so powerful that even the greatest hero deemed it worthy to carry with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Zeus places the lion among the stars as the constellation Leo, ensuring that its story would never be forgotten. And I think that's where Leo's symbolism gets really interesting. We tend to associate Leo with attention, performance, or wanting to be seen. But this myth suggests something deeper. Leo isn't famous because it demanded attention. It's immortal because it proved impossible to ignore. The lion earned its place in the sky by embodying extraordinary strength and resilience. And that's what legacy really is, not just being noticed for a moment, but leaving such an impact that people are still telling your story thousands of years later.
Yeah.
Honestly, Leo came in handy for Hercules the entire time.
Yeah.
It's
Almost every labor.
a piece almost every labor and saved him.
It saves his hide, if you will.
Totally, though.
Yeah. When you move beyond the constellation, Leo becomes much bigger than a single lion. It becomes the mythology of the sun itself. So we've kind of talked about the sun a little bit.
Pretty important.
But it's not just another object in the sky. It's a source of life. It marks the seasons, determines harvests, and has quite literally dictated whether civilizations could survive. So it's no surprise that rulers throughout history wanted to be associated with it. Leo is deeply connected to solar deities, kingship myths, and other ideas of divine rulership.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about with our sun and the moon episode, the sun gets associated with that type of power.
Yeah.
And inevitability.
So like England, for example, the English crest is 3 lions on it.
Yep.
And I talk about it all the time.
and so then Scotland with their unicorn that is said to be able to kill the lion.
I love their unicorn.
Is great.
It's so good.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Louis the 14th is the sun god.
Sure.
Or sun king. Oh my God, sun god. He would have loved to be considered a god.
We also have Helios, the original sun god, who was believed to drive the sun across the sky each morning with his blazing chariot. In Egyptian mythology, we have Ra, perhaps one of the most powerful solar deities in history. And then there's Sekhmet, the lion-headed Egyptian goddess. She embodies the sun's fiercest qualities: power, protection, justice, and destruction. Where she reminds us that sunlight gives life, but too much of it can also scorch the earth.
And that's something mythology understood incredibly well. The sun nurtures, the sun illuminates, the sun also burns.
Yes.
I know that firsthand.
Yeah.
And that duality shows up again and again in Leo. The lion itself appears across mythologies because it became one of humanity's greatest symbols of sovereignty, courage, dominance, protection, divine authority, and spectacle. Just think about how many cultures put lions on their thrones, flags, coats of arms, temples, and royal seals. Even in places where lions don't naturally live, they become symbols of kingship because they represented the ideal ruler, powerful, commanding, and worthy of respect. History reflects this too, from the pharaohs of Egypt to medieval European monarchs, and even Louis XIV of France, who famously called himself the Sun King. Rulers have repeatedly linked themselves to the sun as a way of reinforcing their authority and their legacy.
And which brings us back to Leo, because Leo mythology isn't asking, how do you become famous? It's asking something much more interesting. What does it cost to become iconic? Because every mythic king, every legendary ruler, every larger-than-life performer, and every cultural icon eventually discovers the same truth. The brighter you shine, the more the world expects you to keep shining. And carrying that kind of light always comes with a cost.
Yeah, I think we have some pretty good examples of this. I mean, right off the bat, I know that for us, we can think of this type of energy from Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Yeah.
Or not even just the Eras Tour. I think there's a danger.
She's gone to such an immense level now that it's like, where do we go next?
And how do you
top yourself?
Handle that?
Yeah, and how do you handle it? Yeah. Fiction loves Leo energy because every great story needs someone who's impossible to ignore. Some of my favorite Leo-coded characters include lions themselves. So Simba, Mufasa, Aslan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they all kind of represent the same idea, right, of this kingship or leader, ultimate leader, right?
Yeah. Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
I think Harry's a good Leo, our Gryffindor.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a Leo, too. That is canon.
True.
Yeah, that he's a Leo. Yeah, he doesn't even really want to be famous. He just wants to be remembered for something good.
He handles it decently.
Yeah.
And I think how he handles it is what separates him from Gryffindor, Slytherin.
Yes.
Is what allowed him Gryffindor.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he wanted to be remembered for something good coming out of something bad.
Yeah, the boy who lived.
Yes.
I mean, I think if we want to go into a more, I don't know, a negative connotation of this character, if you will, Gilderoy Lockhart
Yes.
is Leo.
Yes. He's all image and no substance.
Yes. And that's the problem with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't see that in every Leo, of course, but that's an example where it goes poorly.
Or if you really want to take it there, Voldemort.
Probably.
So he's so consumed with creating this everlasting legacy that he will sacrifice anything to achieve it.
And it would also make sense that he and Harry would probably be the same sign.
Yeah.
Just constantly at odds with each other.
Two sides of the same coin.
And that's the question Leo mythology keeps asking, whether it's an ancient king, a lion placed among the stars, or the boy who lived.
Yeah. So the lionesses, right?
Yes. Our girls.
Our girl Leos.
Sharpay Evans.
Sharpay is a Leo. I don't know how you could see it otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, she
theatrical.
Yes. And everything should be about her. Look
ambitious.
At her. She's sparkly and driven and
convinced she belongs
everywhere.
Forefront.
In every room that she's in, that she should be in the forefront.
Yes.
Yeah.
High School Musical, for those who don't know who we're talking about.
Jeez.
I know. Well,
yeah.
We might have young people listening. I don't know. Wonder Woman. Regal, inspiring, and leading through courage. And I think Glinda is a good example also of a Leo energy.
Yeah.
And again, like a little bit of both, right? Like where she gets like swept up by the attention of it all, and the legacy of it all, how she'll be remembered.
Yeah.
And you could say the same about Regina George. Regina George would be a good example of like a little bit of duality going on, right? So she obviously wants to be the queen bee, right? Obsessed with status and visibility.
And how she comes off to others.
And she's influential and charismatic to a certain degree, and it's in her own way, right?
Yeah.
But it also shows how she's, again, obsessed with this idea of being this person, right?
What happens when maybe that isn't the case?
Yeah.
And she's really having a hard time.
Yeah. The thing all these characters have in common is that they become symbols. People inside these stories look to them, talk about them, build legends around them, because Leo energy isn't about wanting attention. It's about becoming someone whose presence can change the room. And maybe that's why humanity keeps returning to lion imagery, royal imagery, celebrity culture, and larger-than-life heroes. We've always been fascinated by icons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So our Taylor Swift album for Leo. Actually, I struggle with this a little.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this, it needs to be Lover.
Okay.
Bright, dramatic, expressive. Picture the music video for me.
Yes. That's very, theatrical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It also it's bold. It's,
again, different than what she had done previously.
Wasn't something I expected her to do for that song.
No.
So when I saw it, I was like, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure, we see you. Hi.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
You know, it sparked my attention in that way.
Yeah.
And I think the album embodies that sense of confidence.
Yeah.
Is it mistitled? No, because she does it for a reason.
No, but I understand what you're saying. Like, is it all it's a little bit facade-y?
It's a dual nature of a Leo here. So I just wanted to be clear about that.
Yeah.
It's not lovey music.
Yes.
It's not romance music.
Correct.
If you're really listening to lyrics, you know that you heard that album and were like, oh, she and Joe are not doing great.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's this.
Yeah, you have like the persona that you see on stage, which is the bright, colorful, sugar-coated. Yes. Yeah. And then the lyrics of it being more of this.
Oh, no.
Actually, what's happening on the inside, which I think a Leo probably could relate to. You have this not dual personality, but dual versions of yourself. If Aries is the trailblazer, then Leo is the icon. Leo's energy tends to show up in people who don't just become successful, they become cultural symbols. They're remembered for creating an identity that is instantly recognizable. So our famous Leos.
And whether we like these people or not, they're famous for a reason.
Correct, yes.
You know, are notable for a reason.
Yes. So. Yeah, they're not all good people, but they are memorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, so we're going to start with our cultural or our political figures. So that's why we're saying that to start. Not all of these people are good, but they're not all bad either. It just depends on how you're viewing them, right?
Yeah.
So Obama.
Yeah.
He's charismatic. I think he's a good example of a Leo, actually. He's
very so too.
Charismatic, commands the room when he's speaking. He's a good speaker.
He is a good speaker.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Leo energy for sure.
Short short man energy. I'm not going to say short king because he's not a king. He's short man. Small man.
Emperor.
Coco Chanel, also problematic. Meghan Markle, also problematic.
Huh?
Bill Clinton and Mussolini. It's a bold group.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why we bring them up, because they're obviously Leo.
Exactly. So our musical Leos include Jennifer Lopez, Madonna, Mick Jagger, Dua Lipa, and Louis Armstrong.
All of those check.
Are very
so much for me.
Bold. You know who they are.
Leo isn't a fire sign. I don't know where we'd put her.
She's such a Leo to me.
She's
crazy.
such a Leo, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, singer, actress, dancer, producer, entertainer, entrepreneur. Like she's...
And I put Madonna with that,
And the
too.
same. Yeah, same thing. Totally. Daniel Radcliffe. So our Harry Potter is a Leo.
Yes. So our Harry Potter actor.
Which I think is really cool because it just adds another layer to his character.
I think it's a good piece of how he just embodies Harry so well.
That's why it works. Yeah.
And I mean, he's always Harry to me. I'm sorry. I know it's not great to type actors in that way.
Yeah, but it's true. I think you can be that and then also move on from it. I think you can be both. So
totally.
I think people have a hard time with that, but I think you can be both.
I think he does it well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not faulting him for it. I just think he's a very good Harry.
Yeah,
yes. No one's recasting that.
Nope.
HBO can try and they will fail.
So some other actor Leos, which there are many, but these are just some ones that are...
To name a few.
Yeah. Mila Kunis, Jason Momoa, Sandra Bullock, and Chris Hemsworth. And then famous Leo athletes. There's, again, many. But the couple that I came up with was Roger Federer, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you can call him an athlete, and Usain Bolt.
That Usain Bolt, of course he is.
Again, these larger-than-life people.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger and Bolt are very good with all of that attention. They handle it very well, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Leo reveals something that's a little uncomfortable about humanity. We love to say we don't care about celebrity and we roll our eyes at influence culture. We criticize billion-dollar tours, royal families, award shows, and larger-than-life public figures. And yet, we can't stop watching them. Think the Kardashians, right?
I love to watch them. And I don't particularly like them, but I can't stop.
Feel invested at this point.
Me too, to be honest.
Like, well, watched you for like a decade now, so
yeah,
I'm kind of in it at this, not quitting now.
No.
But that's exactly what this reminds me of, is it's like there's such a train wreck.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on.
There's a lot going on. I think
I don't like it.
Kylie is a Leo.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think she's the only one. Oh, Courtney is an Aries.
Checks.
Yeah. I think everybody else is not fire.
Everybody else doesn't get along with her very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why they're kind of so
she's the outsider.
Yeah, she's mm-hmm.
She is.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Yep.
Long before we had celebrities, we had kings. Before kings, we had gods. And before we had gods, we looked at the sun. Humans have always been drawn to figures that are bigger than life itself.
Every civilization has created its own version of the sun, someone who becomes its center of attention.
So, of course, mythology also reminds us that living in the spotlight comes with a cost. The sun gives life to everything around it, but it also burns. So maybe the real lesson of Leo isn't how do I become famous? Maybe it's if the world is going to look at me, what kind of light do I want to give? Because civilizations have always crowned suns. The question has never really been about whether we create icons. It's whether those icons use the light to illuminate the world or to simply shine on themselves.
That's Leo behavior.
Sagittarius finally made it to you guys.
And this is my youngest son. Is a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
In a very large way.
They are very opinionated.
Mm-hmm. And for a little person, that's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have lots of feelings and lots of emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got lots of feelings in a little body. They can't control them.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's also someone who wants to just go headfirst into everything.
Yeah.
And so from a parent's point of view, that's really hard.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to manage.
Yes. But we made it to them.
Yeah.
Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, and its season runs from approximately November 22nd to December 21st, just as autumn gives way to winter in the northern hemisphere. It's ruled by Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, and in astrology, the planet of expansion, wisdom, abundance, and possibility.
If Mars tells Aries to act and the Sun encourages Leo to shine, Jupiter asks Sagittarius to grow, to go farther, to ask bigger questions, to see what's over the next hill. Sagittarius governs themes like exploration, philosophy, belief systems, travel, higher learning, storytelling, and search for truth. Notice how almost all of those involve movement, not necessarily physical movement, although Sagittarius certainly have a reputation for loving adventure, but movement of the mind. Sagittarius is driven by curiosity. It's the archetype that wants to understand how the world works, why people believe what they believe, and whether there's something extraordinary waiting up beyond the horizon. And because it's a mutable sign, Sagittarius doesn't cling tightly to one perspective. Mutable signs adapt. They evolve and they gather experiences and allow those experiences to change them. If Aries lights the fire and Leo keeps it burning, Sagittarius carries that fire to places it's never seen before.
Yes. My son can't physically be still because he's a 5-year-old boy, but mentally he also is just always trying to learn something new and do something new and try something new. And there's no denying.
The quest for knowledge is strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to the point where he's very hard to rein in.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think that so being a Gemini, I'm on the opposite side of Sagittarius. So we're what we call sister signs, right?
Yeah.
So I use it as like a two sides of the same coin, right? So like maybe one is better at one thing than the other, but they kind of approach life with a similar goal. So Geminis love a quest for knowledge, and so does a Sagittarius. So that's like our common thread, right? Where a Gemini might go and hide in their books. A Sagittarius is going to go out and explore and
figure it out.
Right. So it's, again, not one is better than the other. It's just two different ways of finding that information.
Yeah. And I think I'm also kind of more of the one who, I don't know, I guess maybe I could be both. But I like to do my research and then go explore.
Yeah.
Owen wants to skip that step.
But that's
and my
the fire.
Like,
it's the initiating energy. Yeah.
And my brain is immediately like, no, that's going to hurt. Please don't do that.
Don't learn the hard way.
And he's like, no, I'm going to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, great. Well, enjoy.
Yeah. He's just different than you in that way. Yeah. So its shadow, of course, comes by taking that freedom too far. Sagittarius can become reckless, impulsive, overly idealistic, and constantly chasing the next adventure without appreciating where they are at the present moment. It can confuse movement with progress, but at its best, Sagittarius reminds us that curiosity is one of humanity's greatest strengths. Every great explorer, philosopher, teacher, scientist, storyteller, and pilgrim started with the same thought. What if there is more? And the question has changed the course of history more times than we can count.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's just
I love Sagittarius.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard not to mention this here, so I'm just going to do it. Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius.
Yes.
So, and if you picture that with everything we've just said, think of the Eras Tour and all it became.
Everything a Sagittarius would do.
Yeah. And that's how she's so good at these things.
Yeah.
It's just how she works. She's always looking ahead.
Yeah.
She's always
one
pushing
step
further.
ahead. What's beyond the horizon?
Yeah. And so sometimes it's okay. Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius.
Yes.
This is going to be okay.
She knows where she's going.
He'll grow up and this will be fine.
Yes. Yeah, you just have to harness it correctly, right?
Right. Harness your power.
Yes. So Sagittarius is one of those constellations where you'll see it has multiple origins.
Yeah.
But it almost is always depicted as a centaur, half human, half horse, with a bow drawn towards the sky. In Greek mythology, the centaur is most commonly associated with Chiron. Now, Chiron was different from most of the other centaurs in mythology. Most centaurs were portrayed as wild, impulsive, and prone to violence. They represented humanity's untamed instinct, the part of us driven by impulse rather than reason. But Chiron broke the mold. He was known not for conquest but for wisdom. He was a renowned healer, teacher, philosopher, astronomer, and musician and mentor to heroes. If there was a legendary hero in Greek mythology, chances are Chiron had something to do with their education. He trained Achilles, preparing him to become one of Greece's greatest warriors. He mentored Jason long before the quest for the Golden Fleece.
So while other centaurs symbolized humanity's animal instincts, Chiron represented something much more hopeful. He showed that knowledge, compassion, and discipline could exist alongside strength. His own story is also deeply moving. Although he was immortal, Chiron was accidentally struck by one of Hercules' poisoned arrows. The wound could never heal, leaving him in constant pain. Unable to die, but unable to recover, he eventually chose to give up his immortality to free Prometheus, sacrificing eternal life so someone else could live. In the end, Zeus honored Chiron by placing him among the stars. So again, we're seeing Zeus honoring a creature for a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And
And
having
being
them live
courage
on.
and bold, like the courage, boldness
Yeah.
that all these fire signs kind of symbolize.
Yeah.
Also, like me and you talked about the other day, but for our listeners, Chiron is a place in your birth chart. It is a point, not a planet, not a star. It's
Like a blip, if you will.
but it's just a point that is mapped out on your chart that represents this unhealed wound in your life. So it is something interesting to look into if people are interested. But it relates to Chiron being injured by these poisoned arrows. The story
And
comes
never
from
being able to heal from
and
it.
never.
Yeah.
So I mean, astrologers ring in, but from my understanding of it is that if you can help find a way to heal it or work with that wound, it helps you through like your life.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like solve your quote unhealable wound.
Yeah, and I don't think it's something to conquer necessarily, but or heal, like fix, but to be aware of.
Yeah.
As a challenging thing. Yeah. Whether every ancient source agrees that Sagittarius specifically represents Chiron is debated, but symbolically, it's incredibly fitting.
Yep.
Sagittarius has always been about more than adventure. Its mythology combines wildness with wisdom, freedom with responsibility, instinct with intellect, and movement with meaning. The centaur itself is a perfect symbol, half horse and half human, one part driven to roam, the other driven to understand. And maybe that's why this story has remained for so long. It reminds us that the greatest journeys aren't just about discovering new places, they're about becoming wiser because you dared to leave home in the first place.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I like Sagittarius.
I do too.
I don't have a problem with
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Leo is the only fire sign I don't really mess with.
So I have a theory that, again, this doesn't have to go in, but if you take the signs that are on either end of you, so like for you, it would be Leo and Libra. Those are ones that you don't normally gel with on paper because there's a lot of similarities, but not always for the good because you approach things different. So like a Leo and a Virgo want that recognition, but in a different way. And so you butt heads because of that. So when we zoom out beyond Chiron, Sagittarius becomes the seeker. If Aries asks, what should I do? And Leo asks, what will I become? Then Sagittarius asks, what else is out there?
Absolutely. Across cultures, this archetype shows up again and again. In Greek mythology, Sagittarius reflects the balance between Artemis and Apollo. Artemis is the goddess of wilderness, the hunt, and untamed nature. She represents freedom, movement, and life beyond the boundaries of civilization. Apollo, her twin brother, represents knowledge, music, prophecy, philosophy, and reason. Together, they capture something essential about Sagittarius, the desire to roam the world, while also trying to understand it. We also see Sagittarius throughout centaur mythology. While many centaurs represented humanity's wild instincts, figures like Chiron remind us that wisdom often comes from learning to balance our animal nature with our intellectual one.
Then if we move north to Norse mythology, we find one of my favorite Sagittarius archetypes, Odin.
Totally.
People often think of Odin as simply as a warrior king, but he was arguably even more obsessed with knowledge than power.
His pursuit of knowledge drove every decision he ever made.
He sacrificed one of his eyes at Mimir's well in exchange for wisdom. He hung himself from the branches of Yggdrasil for 9 nights to gain the knowledge of the runes.
Yep.
He constantly wandered the earth in disguise, asking questions, collecting stories, and seeking understanding. That is Sagittarius.
Yeah, totally. And something that I think Odin gets
a bad,
a bad rap for doing those things. You and I are both just like, yeah, get all
love it.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, Okay, I think I know why.
Yeah.
We have a hard time with a god being just like, I'm the boss for
I'm
no
the
reason,
strongest.
right? For not really a good reason.
Yeah.
Hello, all-seeing, all-powerful one, all-knowing one.
Yeah.
You've done the legwork. Like, we
Right.
get
Excellent.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes sense.
Good, thanks.
Yeah. 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 Now I don't have to do it. Yeah. I think it's easy for us to see the value in that approach to leadership.
Yeah.
As we talked about in Zeus and Odin episode.
Second episode?
Yeah. Second episode.
Oh my gosh.
We're on episode 19.
19.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So Sagittarius believes that there's always something more to learn. This archetype appears in wandering prophets, traveling monks, pilgrims, philosophers, explorers, and storytellers across every culture. Think about the medieval pilgrims walking hundreds of miles to sacred sites, or the Silk Road travelers exchanging ideas as much as goods, or explorers setting sail towards maps that literally led to the end of the world as they knew it. Here must be dragons. These stories weren't just about reaching the destination. They were believing that the journey itself could transform you.
Yeah. And they're going to go on that journey head first.
Oh, yeah. That's why fire takes a different role in Sagittarius mythology. With Aries, the fire is the spark. With Leo, it's a blazing sun. And with Sagittarius, it's the torch. It lights the path forward. It illuminates the unknown, and fire here becomes illumination rather than destruction. Which brings us to the question Sagittarius myth keeps asking. What happens when curiosity becomes sacred? What happens when the search for truth becomes a life's purpose? Because throughout history, the people who changed the way that we understood the world weren't always the strongest or the wealthiest. They were often the ones who refused to stop asking questions.
Yeah. It's only 5, but
I know. I
right
love
on.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what I love is that, again, because they're next to each other in the lineup,
Yeah.
Scorpio and Sagittarius love their knowledge.
They do. Yeah. And we see that in our kids big time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And even at such young ages, like,
It's impossible not to see that. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our Sagittarius coded characters.
If there's one archetype storytellers never get tired of, it's the adventurer.
Yes.
Sagittarius coded characters are rarely content staying where they are. They're driven by curiosity. They chase the unknown, ask the big questions, and usually discover that the journey changes them more than the destination ever could.
Yeah.
So some of our favorites. Yeah, I mean, we got to start with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. He's
Our adventurer.
perfect. Yeah. I mean, classic explorer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's literally a search for knowledge. I don't know how you get more Sagittarian.
Yep.
Same with Laura Croft. Same kind of vibe, just woman.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
He travels endlessly. Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit.
Absolutely.
An ordinary person who leaves home and comes back not the same. And you could say the same for Frodo.
Yeah, I mean, all of that anyone in that main quest,
Yeah.
right, is
It's
that's
again
the same
the
energy.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moana.
I think Moana is an easy one, I think, for people to see. She knows there's something out there waiting for her. She isn't quite sure where it is.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
Goes on this big quest to sort of find her and finds herself along the way.
Yeah, totally.
So classic.
Mm-hmm.
Newt
Newt
Scamander. I love
Fantastic
Newt
Beasts,
Scamander.
so Harry Potter universe.
Yes, our creature guy.
I love him.
Always wanting to know all the information, find all the
Yes.
information, and is
Making sure people
definitely-
knew the information too, like spreading the word of the information.
and he's restless in that pursuit.
Yeah.
He really
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
So our Taylor Swift album for Sagittarius.
Others might disagree with this one. I think debut is
Well,
Sagittarius.
she is the Sagittarius, so
I think
it's not
it
wrong.
starts with her.
yeah,
at
I like
debut.
that. Yeah.
Where it's optimistic, adventurous. This is her starting album.
Yeah. It's literally her, and she is one. So I don't know how you couldn't put that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
What other album embodies her at her core more than this first album?
I mean, to be honest, people change as they get
Oh,
older.
of course.
So,
I'm just saying,
it's
like the archetype
but
of
at a
her.
foundational level.
Yeah.
If we need debut go somewhere, I think it starts with her.
Yeah.
And that's a Sagittarius.
I
It's
think-
the start of her adventure, if
yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
that first step.
Right. And I think like when I Knew It, I Knew You came out, and it kind of called back to that original,
Yeah.
album with just the style of it.
Totally.
It just
it hits
That also feels to me like that song feels Sagittarian.
It does.
So-
And that's because it's Jessie.
Well,
Jessie
true.
is
Jessie is
probably
definitely a Sagittarius.
off on her adventure.
Yeah. Okay. So our famous Sagittarians, well, Taylor Swift herself.
My favorite.
Yeah. She is a storyteller who built her entire career exploring different perspectives, reinventing herself, and inviting listeners into each new chapter.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, again, she does this so well, where she is able to adapt as she moves forward in her
Yeah.
pursuit.
Yeah, she's a great way of showing how this journey has changed her along the way. Well, and she's always seeking like the new challenge. Like you can see that in her.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think, the Eras tour was such a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, we're doing it. I'm in.
Yeah. Or even just going into the folklore era, right? Like we
Yeah.
talked about in our other episode. You can, I mean, she took a huge risk and leaped into something that she felt like this is a new adventure, a new way of going about things. And it is some of her most like iconic songs that really changed the trajectory of her career to me.
And I will say those albums were the first two to resonate with people who maybe weren't into pop music, which, I mean, fine, but but no, it's
called
good.
That for a reason. No,
it broadened her sort of audience there.
Yeah.
Others began to recognize her for the talent that we knew she had
I
along.
think it gave her like more of a songwriter credit, if you will, street cred.
Street cred. Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah, I think that's that's what every big artist that I've ever heard talk about her references those albums as like her.
It was a very pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And a big shift for her. And again, she just kind of debut sparked it all.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah, I agree. Miley Cyrus is also, again, Hannah Montana.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, she's
also constantly evolving, experimenting.
Yeah.
But still her somehow. And I think that's what's amazing about Sagittarians is that they can shapeshift in a way and they still feel like them.
Yeah.
In
a strange way.
It's so amazing. It's cool.
Because that's something that she's done that so well.
Yeah.
Where she can be Hannah Montana and then the girl on the wrecking ball. And you're like, yeah, same person.
Same person. Mm-hmm. But how?
I don't know.
They just
But it was always fine with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. And Christina Aguilera is another one. Same kind of idea. She went from sweet pop princess to, dirty.
Pushing some boundaries a little
so good,
bit.
though.
Yeah.
It's so funny because, like, looking back at it, not that controversial, just for the time it was.
But it was like before Sabrina Carpenter, right?
Yeah.
So, like, no one else had, for us, our generation, no one else had really done that.
No, true.
And then she really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, always still kind of feels like her no matter what font she's in at that time, you know?
Walt Disney. Walt Disney being a Sagittarius also makes a lot of sense. Something that he did very well. Something I wish his legacy would do better with.
Yes.
But that he was always trying to push boundaries, and his dreams and goals for what he wanted Disney to be were, at the time, very outrageous.
Yes. True. And I mean, you can say the same kind of idea with Jane Austen.
Yeah.
She was not nearly as popular or recognized as she is now, but she had a vision and stuck with it. And that's why her stories resonate now.
Yeah. I mean, I think readers now love her much more than she was
got
appreciated in her own.
Brandon Sanderson is a more modern day writer who's also Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Epic fantasy writer.
Yeah.
So.
Usually, I mean, to be able to build stories and worlds like that.
Oh my God. Some famous figures. Winston Churchill, which I think is very fitting.
Icon.
Ugh.
Icon. If my son could grow up to be a Winston Churchill,
great.
I'd be happy.
Yep. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. For those who don't know, I hope people know who that is. That's all I'm going to say. Mary, Queen of Scots.
Also.
Icon. Yeah.
Love.
Joseph Stalin. Don't love so much.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's my job to make sure my kid ends up like Winston Churchill.
Not Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin basically starts the USSR.
Yeah. Right.
Or the communist Russia that we know now.
Yeah.
So not great. Well, maybe to some people. I don't know. So Nostradamus is an interesting one because he is a French astronomer and poet who created a book that basically has predictions of every major event in history after him, like many of them that actually ended up happening.
So Nostradamus is actually a very interesting one. I didn't know he was a Sagittarius, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. To me, he's hard to place because historians can't put him somewhere. Monarchs would
Had
hire
astrologers.
Yes.
Yeah.
To help advise
Yeah.
them in decision making.
Yeah. Henry VIII had one.
Nostradamus was one of those
Yeah.
for France.
Yes.
But also somehow
Also,
it's interesting.
yeah.
I don't know how to include this in here without it being too string theory-esque.
Sure.
But
It's okay.
Nostradamus is
I'm okay with
an
it.
interesting one.
Yeah. I think he has these interesting insights into our history timeline that if you don't know anything about him, please look him up. And I don't know, we could try to do an episode on him. I don't know how we could make it fit our lens, but it's interesting.
And Crazy Horse, who is a notorious Lakota war leader.
Yeah.
Just, charging in to battle, essentially, is the image there.
He basically like led the resistance of the North Plains during like the Wild West period,
our
essentially.
Western expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was also a very well respected, even by his opponents, if you will.
Right. I mean,
that's why he's remembered, if you think of it that way, because a lot of these people were erased, as we hate to acknowledge, but that's just true. He never signed any treaties and never traveled to Washington, D.C.
Nope.
And he also never allowed himself to be photographed, so we don't have any photographs of Crazy Horse. But
I think we have
he has like these, like it's again, legends about him, so, or folk tales, if you will. So he would make a great episode if you guys want to hear more about him. So common thread isn't that these people love to travel. It's about that they expanded something, an art form, an industry, a conversation, a worldview. Because Sagittarius isn't just about adventure. It's the sign that believes there's more to learn, more to experience, and more of ourselves waiting to be discovered.
That's Sagittarius behavior.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think this like belief that transformation like lives out in the world and we have to go and search for it is like a fun concept to have to go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's very daunting.
Yeah.
And would be hard.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's why I struggle deeply with my son just wanting to charge headfirst into things.
It's again this like bravery and like willingness to do what other people won't, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a story that we've seen throughout history. Every pilgrimage or hero's journey, road trip movie, fantasy quest, study abroad experience, or I'm backpacking across Europe and finding myself story.
Gap year.
I think it's this idea of searching for knowledge and how it changes us through that journey and experience is just, it's a valuable thing to remember as you go through life. And that journey doesn't just end because you're not in school anymore, right? I think that's why we love doing what we're doing, is that we still get to have that
our quest for knowledge.
Yes, it never stops. Well, and I think it goes quiet for a while. Like after you're done with school and you move on with your quote unquote life as you're supposed to live it, right? You kind of, you don't stop learning, but learn in a different way. And I think that us coming back to our more like school studies
our
version
analytical
of it.
brains.
Yeah, like we've really enjoyed that. So sometimes the journey comes back to something familiar.
Absolutely. Maybe that's the real fire of Sagittarius, not the fire that burns, the fire that lights the way.
Mm-hmm.
The torch you carry into the unknown, trusting that every step forward might teach you something you couldn't have learned by staying where you were. Because humans have always believed there's something waiting beyond the horizon. And whether the horizon is a new country, a new idea, or a new version of ourselves, we'll probably keep chasing it.
Yeah, no, it's true. So why do these stories still resonate thousands of years later? I think it's because fire signs never really disappeared. We just gave them modern names. Ancient people used myths to explain how people changed the world. And today we celebrate visibility and we admire ambition. And we're fascinated by confidence, charisma, reinvention, and exploration. In other words, we're still rewarding fire. I mean, think about it. We turned ancient fire mythology into celebrity culture, into startup culture where founders are praised for taking risks and changing entire industries.
It's very much the American way.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think we
are very fire sign coded as Americans, which is funny because we're Cancer. Yeah, and we've also turned that fire mythology into main character energy, where we encourage to think of ourselves as the heroes of our own story. Even our obsession with adventure, travel, and chasing the next big experience echoes Sagittarius archetype. The myths may have changed, the instinct hasn't, but there's one part that I love. In ancient mythology, never treated fire as purely good. It was sacred precisely because it was dangerous. Fire gives warmth, fire creates civilization, and fire lights the way forward, but it also destroys forests, burns cities, and consumes everything that's left unchecked.
Yep.
And the same can be true about people carrying this energy. The visionaries who inspire us can also be consumed by ego, and the leaders who unite us can also become tyrants.
Stalin.
The explorers who expand the world can also exploit it. And performers who light up the stage can burn themselves out by trying to shine.
They just need a break.
Yes.
Let her have a break.
Let her have a break.
It's okay.
Let her
She's
get
gonna have
married,
to-
okay?
Let her get married. She'll top herself.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
she will. She always does.
She can't help it.
Nope.
It's who she is.
Yep. That's why these myths have survived, not just because they celebrate fire, but because they teach us to respect it. The goal was never to extinguish the flame. It was to learn how to carry it wisely. And maybe that's the lesson that they still have for us today. Not how to burn brighter than everyone else, but how to use your fire and leave the world warmer than you found it.
Yeah. I think of the Greeks.
Yeah.
And it's a cool way to, again, have some balance, have
Mhm.
some checks and balances
Yeah.
put in.
Yeah.
Because fire is necessary.
Yeah.
But it has that other side too.
Yeah. And
it's good to remember that.
yeah. And I think
it's not
it's
bad. It's not evil.
Right.
You just should be mindful of
And
it.
I think that's why these people become polarizing, because they have this double-edged, personalities sometimes, but or even their behavior can feel that way.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they're wrong for doing it that way. It's just different than other people do it.
Yeah. Again, it's like somebody's got to start the fire.
Yeah.
So
We didn't start the
no,
fire.
we couldn't do that. I think that's what the fire signs ultimately remind us. Mythology has never belonged to people who stayed on the sidelines. It belongs to the ones who dared to take the first step, stand in the spotlight, or venture beyond the edge of the known world. Aries teaches us to begin, Leo teaches us to shine, and Sagittarius teaches us to keep searching. Together, they remind us that changing the world has always required a little courage and a little fire. The people we remember most aren't always the strongest or the loudest. They're the ones who were willing to leave a mark.
That's fire sign behavior. It's interesting because I look at these signs now in a different way than I did probably prior to going into this episode, of how much they influence and drive things forward. I mean, that the whole idea of them being such action takers and moving everyone forward in the process is it's interesting to think about, because we don't always necessarily see them as the natural leaders, but not always the best ones. And I think sometimes we have to go with what makes sense, or why you see that pattern happen, over and over. I mean, like we were saying, all these people, famous leaders who are these fire signs. I think it's interesting. You see this commonality between them of all having that energy.
Mean, like the best one.
No, it doesn't mean they're good, but
they were the first to volunteer. They were the first to go, the first to try.
And have the authority and confidence and charisma to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Jefferson is where my brain goes here.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, he wasn't afraid to do it.
Yeah, or Winston Churchill. I mean, he was not well liked to start by any means, but he persisted and made sure that what he,
a very strong
pushed
leader.
through. Yeah. So that's it for fire signs, but we will be continuing.
Obviously, we have 2 more groupings, including our groupings.
Yes,
so
they're actually ours. We didn't do that on purpose, because we were just going in a timeline order, if you will.
We're going with the flow here.
Yes.
The flow led us from water to fire.
Yeah. So we will be going next to the earth signs.
Oh, yay. Me.
So you next. Yeah. So till next time, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.